There are holes in the car.
Holy crap!
Happy Tuesday and welcome back to Crawl TV's home office. This is video 2 of our ROKBUGY series. Video 1 was released last Tuesday. In that video, we brought the bug up to Rockstar Garage in Murrieta and did as much as the teardown as we could. This second video will be the rest of the teardown of the bug and assessing the vehicle for rust and holes and any kind of damages that we might need to fix. Because this footage is a year old, I will be going through it with you to help it make a little bit more sense. So let's get going.
Hey guys, it is day 2. We are back in the shop here with the Volkswagen. Today's plan is to get the rear apron pulled off of the car, and then we could pull the motor out of it. And then we have everything else taken apart to the point where we can actually get the body separated from the pan of the car. So we'll lift the body up off the pan and then basically set the body aside, and the pan is where we're gonna focus all of our attention for the next couple weeks. So getting the rear apron off the car is really easy. It's actually already broken free on one side. So we have this panel here that's just loose. You can see somebody actually put a sheet metal screw in it at some point, and it's only held on by this one small weld here on this side. On the other side, it actually has some factory tacks that we'll have to take out. So it's not just this top one, but also one here and here. So it's a little bit more stable, but there's not a lot holding it on still. We'll put this in the pile of stuff that's going to sandblasting, and then we'll work on getting this motor out of here.
Pulling the motor was super easy. It was a 2-person job. Neither Jarrett nor I pressed record, so we actually don't have any footage of that. But I think it was like 4 bolts to get the motor off of the transmission and out of the car. We used our Pro Eagle jack, which made it super easy for us.
All right guys, so now it's time to pull the body off of the pan. While I was working on getting the main 18 millimeter bolts off the front and back side of the bug, Steph was working on getting the engine removed. The two of us could easily pick up a Volkswagen engine, we found out. Now she's cleaning up the back firewall here, where there's that old like tar paper stuff. While she's finishing that up, I'm gonna get back to working on this. These bolts that connect the body to the pan are 13 millimeters. You can see them right here. They are coming out with a ton of rust. So had to get the eye protection on. I should be able to do it just fine with this little Makita impact, but you can see how much is falling down on me. This is where we're leaving off for today. We have the body and pan fully separated now. There was tar inside of these panels, and there was tar in the doors that are in the pile to go to sandblasting over there. A big panel that I didn't want to cut out, but it was so rusty in this area right here that this flat panel, here I'll show you guys from the inside of the car, but this flat panel back here had to go. It was just riddled with holes and there was no way to save it. Over here, you can see that there's a ripple, whereas on the driver's side, it's nice and straight. So this car did get crunched a little bit here. And then if you follow the ribs along the firewall in the back, they're nice and symmetrical. And when you get to this side, this one actually folds over right here and the body is crumpled. So there is like a crumple zone that has moved in about 3/4 of an inch on this side. So the passenger side is a little bit narrower than the driver's side. And then lastly, checking out all the rust on this thing, did see that there are some big spots where it's completely rusted through. Not really sure how to approach that yet. I'm gonna take a closer look at it when it gets back from sandblasting just to see how extensive it is. But more than likely, I'm gonna run a piece of flat stock in here and just connect this bottom floor pan to this edge. Anyways, that's where we're at for today. I think we made incredible progress this weekend. And considering the fact that this is all already going out to powder coat.
2 days of work and she's ready for powder coat.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Once we get this back, we're just gonna get it back bare metal, I think, and do all the modifications that we need to, probably remove a bunch of these little brackets and stuff that are no longer necessary, cut the dash out, get all that stuff done. Once everything is done, mocked up, bare metal where it should be, then we'll prime it and paint it, because we're not gonna be doing any more body work, metal work, anything like that. we will see you guys when we get back over here to start working on the pan.
In our opinion, there were some pretty bad spots that were in rough enough shape that we thought we should order new parts. So we cleaned up for the day, jumped online, and found what we needed locally. The next day at the shop started with me borrowing a huge dually truck that I could barely see over the hood from Rockstar Garage to go pick up the replacement pieces. So Jarrett is unfortunately working today, so I'm running some errands for the Bug. I'm currently up at Wolfsburg picking up some sheet metal parts that we ordered. We had to replace both the floor pans. They ended up having some holes in them, and it looked like the previous owner tried to fix them with tar. They were both pretty nasty, so we thought the best thing to do was just replace those. We also had to order a new luggage shelf for the back. When we got that apart, there were some pretty big softball size holes in that area that Jarrett showed you previously. We also ordered some bolts, miscellaneous gaskets, and a couple other things to make this car just a little bit less holy. All right, so we picked up parts. We got these two big boys here, and then we also have the luggage shelf and bolts and gaskets and all that inside the truck here. So let's get this back to Rockstar Garage so we can keep working on this Bug.
All right, guys, so we are back in the shop to get some more work done on the Bug today. The body is gone because it went out to sandblasting. We're gonna get started on pulling these pans out of the boxes, getting things ready to go so that we can get this pan freshened up. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know where else I was going with that. Let's get started. All right, so now we can get a good look at the bottom side of the pan. We used the lift here to tip the car and then just pushed it the rest of the way over. Some people would argue that this pan is in good enough condition to not fix it, but I would rather have a complete pan than one with holes in it trying to patch it. This process is not very complicated. We just cut these old pans out down to this tunnel here. And then once we have them out, we clean up the mating surfaces, weld the new ones in, and we're ready to rock and roll. All right, guys, so now we have to discuss what we're gonna be cutting off of this pan. So we'll cut right along this line here, on the back of this pan, down the back, and then right along here. This is why we have this car tilted on its side, because you can use this as a guide to cut this part of the pan off while being sure not to cut into the tunnel. I took some up-close pictures so that you guys can see the condition of the pan, because on video, you might be wondering, why the heck are you replacing these? And some people will still say, why the heck are you replacing these? But there are some huge chunks of tar that are hiding gigantic rust holes all over the bottom of this car, and they're everywhere. So it looks good to a naked eye because everything's kind of coated in tar. The floor is mostly rusted out. I'm gonna take a quick commercial break to put some gloves on because I'm roasting my hands. All right, guys, so while I'm working on getting the rest of that pan out of the Volkswagen pan here, I don't know if that makes sense to you, you know what I'm talking about. Steph is gonna be working on getting these seat brackets off of our new pans. So there's just a bunch of spot welds in these things. I've marked all of them with X's, even though I'm sure she's capable of finding the spot welds on her own. But we're getting rid of these seat brackets because
We're getting PRP seats, they won't fit.
we're running PRP seats, baby. So we're gonna be welding in seat brackets that go from the roll cage to the tunnel, and it's just gonna go right over the top of where these seat brackets are now. So while I'm chiseling away, we drilling. We'll check back in with you in a second. Good luck.
So to get these seat brackets off, we're ending up having to drill holes all the way through the spot welds. through the floor pan. That wasn't originally our plan. We wanted to try to just drill a little bit so we could pop it off, which isn't working. So we are drilling all the way through, chisel and hammering it off of that floor pan. It'll just be a couple extra holes, a little bit more drainage for us, no big deal. Once I finished with the new pans and Jarrett had removed the second old pan, he disconnected the linkage from the transmission, pulled it out, and we decided that we are happy with our progress for the day. It's 6 p.m. This place is like a casino, no windows, no access to the outside world, so time flies.
Yeah, I had no idea it was 6 o'clock. So we're just chugging right along on it. We got the transmission pulled out and we are down to just the tunnel here. We got a lot done. It just doesn't feel like it. I don't know. There's so many rivets and so much swinging hammer, or so much.
A lot of tedious work today.
Yeah, just like every inch there's a spot weld, not a rivet, sorry, but every inch there's a spot weld, and there's probably 1,000 of them, and it takes like 5 or 6 swings of a hammer to get one. So it just wears you out, and yeah, kind of tired, covered in little tiny bits of metal. You've been finding them all over yourself.
Yeah, in my pants and my shoes.
So, all right, we'll check back in with you guys tomorrow when we come back up here. Are we coming back tomorrow?
Yeah, what else we do?
Okay.
At this point, everything was set up for us to come back to the Rockstar garage, get working on welding those new pans in, and repairing the sheet metal on the body, which was on its way back from sandblasting. All of that will be on our next episode, which is airing next Tuesday. That video will be narrated by Jarrett because he did all of the welding. So stay tuned, and we will see you on our next episode of the ROKBUGY playlist on Crawl TV. Thanks for watching.